welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is Choocher.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about Strangers 2, Electric Boogaloo. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now. If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. All right, so let's get into it.
So what did you think?
I'm going to lob this one back to you, since you've seen it at least 2, if not 3 times that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that you like this one more than the first one, so I'll let you take over the overall opinion.
Okay, so as viewers may have heard before, numerous times, we both have expressed our absolute distaste for the original, the first one, numerous times. So this one, I remember I was extremely reluctant to see. I did not go to the theater to see it, and I was kind of avoiding it until a friend of mine had talked me into going to see it, to watching it, coming over and watching it, and I went into it with extremely low expectations, and turned out I kind of loved it. Okay. It's done by a completely different director, and you can most certainly tell. Whereas the other one I don't think had any bite whatsoever, and it was a nearly 2 hours of watching fish on land flop around. This one actually had some bite to it. It's not a perfect movie by any means at all, but it's sure as shit a more entertaining movie. All right. So, your opinion?
Well, I was in the same boat as you. I had no interest in seeing this, and you were the friend that recommended that I watch it, and this is all your fault. This was giant meh. Like, we're going to disagree. In no way was this overall better than 1. In fact, I'd say that part 1 had me more invested than this one did as a whole. And part 1 was goddamn awful. I do not understand how people think Strangers 1 was a good movie. It was ridiculous and insulting at the same time. But I preferred the one house invasion aspect with one couple throughout. Like, there was more tension to it, and this movie was just... it was just a mess. I mean, this one improved on some stuff, but then replaced that with equally annoying stupid shit. But I'll get to that when we go over specifics.
Okay.
And you mentioned it, but I guess I shouldn't have expected much. The co-writers were Brian Bertino, who wrote and directed the first one, and Ben Katai, who penned Malevolent and The Fucking Forest. So I'm glad my hopes weren't too high, considering. And it was directed by Johannes Roberts, who the only thing of note he's done is equally flawed The Other Side of the Door. I don't think he's good at directing people. Even if he had a competent script to work off of. This one was just, ugh. That being said, there were some things that I liked. Lewis Pullman is Luke. He's incredibly adorable. And it was cool to see him in another movie. For our listeners, we did see him in El Royale, but that file unfortunately was corrupted when my computer crashed a couple months back. I thought I was able to retrieve it, and I was, but it's not usable. So unfortunately, it's about 10 to 15 movies that we had recorded that we'll have to re-record in the future. That's one of them. The acting overall was passable, but not extraordinary. I blame that entirely on the director and not the actors, and the script, but not the actors. I like the visceral effects they used when they found the aunt and uncle. Even I went, whoa, when they pulled the sheet off.
Yeah.
I did like that the dead people were still there when the son took the dad back to show him. In most horror movies, when they go to show someone the scary thing has been moved and is no longer there.
And all evidence of a crime is gone.
Exactly. I expected that. But I'm glad they didn't fall into that trope. When the people outside disappeared, it made sense for the most part. Like when the dude was standing outside with the axe, they go get the gun, they look back out, he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's acceptable. But I'll expound more on that in a few. Kinsey shooting the girl with a shotgun twice. In my notes, it said it was the first intelligent thing that's happened all movie. But then that gets erased soon after that. I liked the nods to other horror movies. From Texas Chainsaw at the end with them running into the truck and the driver getting out and running back into the truck and driving away in daylight. To Christine with the headlights. To Scream with the keys. So it was cool little callbacks to other movies.
Yes.
For me, the best part was the soundtrack and the score.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it was a little try-hard at parts.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those are things that I liked specifically from the movie. What about you?
For me, it was one, we ended up with protagonists that actually did something and actually fought back. Two, the use of not just the soundtrack, but also sound. I appreciated moments like where the pool fight scene happened.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when they went underwater, you got the feeling of being underwater.
With the music. Yeah.
Yeah. And other times when there would be absolutely no soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated moments like that. And then also, as you said, the callbacks to previous horror movies. And then the fact that all the bad guys died.
Well, quote unquote.
Yeah, I read that too. And I don't think a third one's going to be made. So I'm counting them as dead.
The Lord.
But yeah, from the moment of girl taking a shotgun blast to the face, extremely satisfying,
Mm-hmm.
to that glorious hit to the head with the golf club,
Mm-hmm.
and then visceral stabbing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go into it when we go into the things we didn't like, but when Man in the Mask died too.
Okay.
But yeah, those were the main. Oh, and the title card.
Okay.
I just really liked that title card.
All right.
But
well, here are some things I didn't like.
mm-hmm.
Things that could have been improved upon. Whew, oh Lord, here we go. Okay, I gotta sit up in my chair. I gotta get ready. I gotta get ready for this. All right. First of all, she wasted a perfectly good joint at the diner.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let that. No way. No, she had at least half a joint left and she just threw it on the ground. Like, psh.
Mm-hmm.
What are you, 17? Oh wait. Okay, the script was bad. Bad. The characters were barely there. There was zero character development that actually mattered. If not for having a crush on Lewis Pullman, I would have given 0 fucks. Christina Hendricks was absolutely wasted. But then again, so was everyone else ultimately. Like, the fucking truck had more character development than any of the human actors. Even in the first one, you're kind of rooting for Liv Tyler. Like, I was rooting for her. And we had a chance to develop the relationship between the couple, the tension between them, who they were, etc. This one, I didn't root for anyone other than Luke. So, like I said a little earlier, they traded off from the first one to this one. Good and bad to good and bad. So in this one, the antagonists at least didn't have teleportation powers.
Yes.
And what I mean is that in the first one, the scary mask person would be behind someone stalking them. The person's crawling on the ground, cut to the shot of what the person is looking at in front of them, crawling on the ground, and the next shot, poof, they're gone. With nowhere to run and hide that fast without being seen or heard. Or someone is right behind dude as he's by the car. Poof, next shot, dude turns around and no one is there. You can hear footsteps on pavement. Even if they're barefoot. Strangest one was bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the antagonists go. But this one traded that for killers are apparently psychic. Mm-hmm. No matter where the family members went, the people were there too. Kinsey runs to the tube to hide. Girl just so happens to be there and right beside her. Without Kinsey hearing it or feeling her, you can feel someone's presence. It's a hollow fucking tube. It echoes. Come on. And then she happens to be sitting right beside her. Like, Kinsey runs in and hides, but doesn't go any further. And the girl just happens to be right at that spot. What if she had went another inch in? Jack in the Box in the trailer with a woman right there. How would they know? And the timing of the Jack in the Box. What? And are they mimes too? Can they be psychic and stupidly fucking quiet? And speaking of, stop trying to hide in trailers. Just run and run and run. The entire trailer park cannot be surrounded by prison fence. I was like, why did you think the main office phone would work? Oh, it actually does work for some reason. Oh, and by the way, they happen to be in the main office too. 2 of them even. Because they just happen to know. And it was there I wrote in my notes, and I'm done with this movie. This movie is worse than the first one. When did Masked Girl have time to get the possibly cute cop's keys? How did she know they weren't in the car? How did she know that he'd have them on his person? How did she know where he'd have them? Is she good at sleight of hand? Is she a magician? Wait, are they all magicians? That would explain how they can fucking reappear wherever the fuck they want at the right exact moment. They're fucking magic. Magic fucking psychic fucking mimes. Strangers too. Some other things. Stop fucking yelling. You're being hunted. Shut up. There's a scene. It's my fault Mom's dead. No, it's not. You know it's not true. Actually, yeah, it kind of is. I wrote in giant letters, grab the fucking axe. He's down now. Chop his head off. Did you forget everything you learned earlier with the shotgun? The end wasn't necessary. Like the jack in the box and the knocking, but we've established they're fucking magic, so whatever. But I will say this, Luke, if you need me to stay with you at the hospital and nurse you back to health, I absolutely volunteer as tribute. I am a selfless person, and I will do that for you. Your turn.
For me, some of the things that didn't work was mainly the ending with Man in the Mask. It's like he died 3 times in order to pay tribute to 3 different horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, each death was good, but pick one and stick with it. The car exploding, I was very satisfied with that. But then I was very pleased with the aesthetic look and purpose of the truck on fire, chasing her down. Then him slowly walking out of the flaming vehicle, only to collapse from his wounds. Okay, I was satisfied with that. And then for him to again peer one more time, that was unnecessary. Again, pick one of the 3 and stick with it. But that was my biggest problem.
That's it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
How? You could accept that they were psychic and they just happened to be in the right spot in a giant trailer park when they could go to any trailer. It was like, pick a number out of a hat, and they always picked the right number.
Well, I mean, yeah, it did bother me, but it didn't bother me that much.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know what to say. Okay. All things considered, would you recommend it?
Yes. And I have.
Oh my God.
And what about you?
Fucking no. Mm-hmm. There is no way. No way. It's like, this is not an improvement. This is just equally bad, if not worse, in different ways. The only thing it has going for it is the adorableness of Lewis Pullman, who I will still nurse back to health if he wants me to. And honestly, leave the home invasion movies to the foreign markets. Go watch them. Go watch the original Funny Games. Hell, go watch Silent House. All of them are way the hell better than either the Strangers movies combined. No, this is your fault. I didn't want to watch this movie. You need to watch this movie. Nope. All right, Mr. Likes Bad Movies. Anything else you would like to add?
No, I think that is about it.
All right. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. And please subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the newest content. And there is a link in the description below for the Patreon that covers all of the creative endeavors, so please consider showing your support. Until next time, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.